One of our favourite wines this year came from here, from La Conseillante in Pomerol, and I'm with Jean-Michel Laporte. And Jean-Michel, if you could tell me, please, in one word, what 2011 means to you.
I would say challenging.
Aha. It was a difficult year.
Yeah, it was quite a quite complicated growing season, as we had to improvise a lot for all the green management, green harvest, removal of the leaves and so on. Even the date of harvest had to be carefully decided, because we thought we would be very early for the harvest, but finally we only picked with 1 week of advance compared to a normal vintage. And basically, if you only looked at the analysis, at the numbers for berries, it was not that easy to see. So tasting of the berries was very, very important this year.
It seems that, well, from my taste anyway, that two areas that did particularly well, one was Saint-Julien and the other was Pomerol. Why do you think Pomerol has done so well in 2011?
We have a lot of clay in the subsoil, in the surface for part of the vineyard in La Conseillante and on the plateau, but mainly on the subsoil and where the roots are. So 2011 was marked by a big drought, a big lack of water, and with the clay the soils were able to keep the water as long as they could, and finally to feed the roots of the vines just enough to avoid any trouble for them to grow. So the very young vines did suffer from the drought, and they are only the second labels this year, but the Grand Vin and the old vines were not really damaged by that. So we are very lucky in Pomerol to get this place in 2011.
We've talked to other winemakers who talked about the very, very small berries, and that meant there was a high skin to juice ratio.
Yeah.
How did you manage that in the cellar to make sure there wasn't too much extraction or
It was not that complicated actually. We only made less pumping overs. We didn't make any délestage. We also.
Would you normally do any délestage?
Not very often, but sometimes I do. We also.
The délestage is removing basically all of the juice and then pushing it back down.
That's like a big pumping over. Yeah. But we don't do that much in Conseillante, but none at all in 2011. So less pumping overs. And also a shorter maceration than usual. So we only macerated between 2 and 3 weeks. Normally it's 2.5 up to 4 weeks of warm maceration. So this year, as you say, the ratio was just totally different than usual. So the extraction went by itself, and we didn't have to go to search for it. So we just let everything go by itself.
Conseillante has turned out, in our minds, to be one of the stars of the vintage. Would you compare it to any previous Conseillante?
For me, it's kind of 2004 and 2008. It's in between. It has some freshness, a lot of taste, a lot of flavors, very nice acidity, but it has more power than 2004 and a bit less refined grainy tannins that we had in 2008.
It's richer, isn't it?
It's richer than 4, probably a bit bigger than 8, but less racy, less definite than 2008. So if it evolves the same way, I'd be very pleased with that.
Definitely. And finally, Jean-Michel, what's the blend at Conseillante this year?
That's 82% Merlot and 18% Cabernet Franc, which is very classical for us.
And the Cabernet Francs were very successful as well this year.
Probably the best vintage I've made with Cabernet Franc in Conseillante. Very delicate, fragrant, a lot of taste, elegant, just what we want to do.
And that must add the freshness and the elegance to the blend as well.
Yeah, it brings just what we want to. So some length and some finesse. That's all about.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.